Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Look at this, I'm uploading again. Isn't that a surprise? I'm only doing this voice recording because I haven't exactly figured out how to use this video. Honestly, if we're lucky, it'll be focused. If it's not, then I'm gonna have to re-record this. But today we are going to be doing a painting. Wow. We're basically going to be painting the AGNI KAI scene from Avatar between Azula and Zuko. Reference picture here. Disclaimer, I'm no professional artist, I'm just doing this for fun. Hopefully this goes well. So we're gonna sketch it out. Just like the general idea of what this is gonna be. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing. No artist of sorts. So flames, that kind of like general shape of it. With that, comes around. You know how people can just sit and like paint? I don't really know how people do that. So I start with black. As I move closer to the flames, I blended some red and brown. I used a warmer tone of brown, but you can see later that like when it dries a little bit more, it kind of becomes white-ish. Not white, but not as dark as I want it to be. I do the same thing on the other side with the black and brown. I was actually kind of worried that I wouldn't have enough red paint, because in my container, I think I only had like a third of the paint left. So I was kind of worried that I wouldn't have enough. As I was painting, I was really debating whether or not I would do the different paths on like the brick sidewalk, I think, and like the waterways that run on each side. And you can see I kind of do the path on the left with the red, but on the right, it's a little dark with the brown. Trying to just blend that in. As I start on the flames, you can see like on the right it's very dark, a lot darker than on the left, which is you can kind of see a difference between each. And then I start with a base of red for the area closer to the flame. I kind of go in with the brown and kind of dab forward. There's this very specific texture that I don't think I really got that I wanted to. It was like kind of like clouds, but not exactly. I wanted to lighten the areas closer to the flames, and I kind of added white, which I think was my mistake. I feel like I should have added yellow or a warmer, lighter color, because when I added white, it kind of just made the whole thing kind of opaque, but not in that sense. I tried to fix that later, but I kind of left it like that for now. Just go in. I kind of learned from my first two tries, so I just go in with red, and then I barely touch, like I don't use the white. Blend in with the brown in the back a little bit more, and then I work my way up with just red, and then I go back. It was a process, definitely a process where I kind of just dabbled around with a lot of red. I started with the blue flame because it was, in this perspective, it's technically behind Zuko's flame. So I started with the Azula's flame and worked with this blue. I didn't exactly start with the super dark blue like you would think. I started with like this medium color. I had a lot of issues though with trying to figure out how I wanted to place the flames. So instead I started with the blue, and then I started with an orange for the other one, just because obviously if I did red, I don't think I would have had enough. So instead I just started with orange. And obviously don't worry, this is not the end of the background, I guess. I go back to fix it later, but I don't know why I'm working on the flames now. So it's really bothering me while I look at this, and it's just like the background is just not blended. But I just worked on the flames first because I wanted to kind of like get the general shape down without just having to trace around it, if that makes any sense. As I was looking at the reference picture, because it is drawn and not painted, I had like a lot of issues with like what parts I wanted to be lighter or darker, because I tried to copy like the specific shapes, if that makes any sense, but I kind of found issues with that, especially you see like the blue. I didn't really use a darker tone of blue, like that was the darkest I went with blue, but I just started with the white to see how well it would work. Looking at the placement of the colors from the reference picture, and obviously it's not going to be the same when I paint it, but I just kind of mark the general shapes down, and then I go in with like this lighter blue that kind of lightens the entire flame, and then I just kind of like blend it in while keeping like the highlights and stuff. It's not exactly the best work I could have done, honestly. I feel like if I started with a darker blue, it would have been better. It kind of all blends through, which I think it looks okay. Yeah, and then I start with yellow for the highlights of the orange flame, because I didn't really know if I wanted to add red so far, because I kind of lightened the blue one, so I was like, maybe I could just lighten this one. But I do go back in red because it just turns out a little too yellow. I had this really big issue with like finding out how I wanted to get the flame to curve. I spent a lot of time in the middle. It didn't have the effect that I wanted it to have, so we just kept working in yellow, and then there was like this section that I couldn't get right, and I kept mixing the oranges. It's super yellow right now. I just add some red into the yellow to make back the orange so you can tell darker contrast. It worked really well. The flames are really coming together now, a lot more than they were before. I do start adding white. I don't know why. I thought I would learn from the first mistake of not adding white because it's so cool. But I do go back and fix the background. Don't worry, my camera just died. So my whole phone died afterwards. So yeah, I'll show you the finished product. Okay, so yeah, it's a different day. I'm just pretending that it's the same day by wearing the same shirt. But anyway, this is the final products. But yeah, I'm really happy with the way it turned out, even if you can tell it's a slightly different red on each side. But, you know, it was good. I tried. And I kind of like it. I have a few more canvases left. If there's anything that you want me to paint, comment down below and I might actually paint it, because I have nothing better to do. If you like my content for some random reason, be sure to subscribe, like this video, it really helps. I'm the most inconsistent person when it comes to posting, so I might post like once every few months. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time, sometime. Bye.